Once upon a time, Emily lived alone in the same quiet house she grew up in. It had been 5 years since her mother passed away. 5 long, silent years. At first, Emily couldn't bear to stay there. Every corner of the house reminded her of memories. Her mom cooking in the kitchen, humming softly in the mornings, calling her name from upstairs. But time passed, and eventually, the house became just a house again, or so she thought. One cold night, around 2:57 a.m., Emily suddenly woke up. Her heart was racing. She didn't know why. The room was completely dark, except for the faint glow of the streetlight outside her window. She sat up slowly, listening. At first, there was nothing, just silence. Then she heard it, a soft voice, coming from downstairs. Emily. Her blood ran cold. She froze. It sounded exactly like her mother. Not similar, not close, exactly. Emily shook her head quickly. No, that's not possible, she whispered to herself. Her mom had died years ago. She was sure of it. She had seen the body, attended the funeral, cried. For weeks. But the voice came again, a little louder this time. Emily, come here, sweetheart. Her hands started trembling. That was her mother's voice, the same gentle tone she used when dinner was ready. For a moment, Emily almost got out of bed, almost. Then something stopped her, a memory. Her mother's last words before she died. Clear as day, if you ever hear me calling you at night, don't answer. Emily's breath caught in her throat. She slowly pulled the blanket closer around herself. The voice downstairs went quiet. For a few seconds, everything was still again. Then a loud creak echoed through the house. Like a door slowly opening, Emily's eyes widened. Her bedroom door. She hadn't locked it. The handle moved slightly, then stopped. Silence. Emily couldn't breathe. Then, very slowly, the door began to open. The darkness from the hallway spilled into her room, and the voice came again, but this time, it wasn't downstairs. It was right outside her door. Emily, her heart pounded violently as tears filled her eyes. This wasn't her mother, because her mother would never sound like that. There was something wrong with the voice now. Something empty, like it was trying to sound human, but failing. The door opened a little wider. The darkness in the hallway felt thick, alive. Emily shut her eyes tightly, pulling the blanket over her head. Don't answer, she whispered. Then she heard footsteps, slow, dragging, coming closer to her bed. And then, right beside her ear, the voice whispered softly, "Why didn't you come?" Emily, her entire body froze, because she could feel it now. Something was standing right next to her bed, watching her, waiting, and then the blanket slowly began to move. Emily screamed and tried to pull away, but whatever was holding her tightened its grip. It felt like a hand, not warm, not human, cold and wrong. Her flashlight flickered once, twice, then turned back on. The beam of light dropped shakily toward her feet, and that's when she saw it. A long, pale hand, not too thin, too long. Its fingers stretched unnaturally around her ankle, digging into her skin. Emily let out a terrified scream and kicked as hard as she could. The hand didn't let go. Instead, it began to pull, slowly dragging her down the stairs. Her back hit the steps as she was pulled downward, each impact knocking the air out of her lungs. "Help, please," she screamed, but there was no one to hear her. The house swallowed her cries. Step, drag, step, drag. She clawed at the wooden floor, trying to hold onto anything. But the grip only tightened. Then suddenly it stopped. Emily lay at the bottom of the stairs, gasping for air. The hand released her, gone, like it was never there. She scrambled backward across the floor, her whole body shaking violently. Her eyes darted around the dark living room. The front door was still shut. The message was still on the wall. But now, there was something else. Footprints, wet, dark, leading from the front door to the hallway, and then to the kitchen. Emily's breath came in short, sharp bursts. "No, I'm not following that," she whispered. But even as she said it, her body moved, slowly, like something was pulling her forward. She stepped into the kitchen. The air felt heavier there, thicker. The smell was horrible. Rotten, like something had been left there for years. Her flashlight moved across the room. The sink, the table, the cabinets, then it stopped. The basement door. It was open. Emily froze. "I locked that," she whispered. The darkness inside the basement was deeper than anything she had ever seen. Her light barely touched it. Then something moved down there, a slow and natural shifting. And the voice came again, but this time, it didn't sound like her mother anymore. It sounded deeper, broken. Emily, her body went completely still. Tears streamed down her face. "That's not my mom," she whispered. The voice answered, "Not anymore." Emily took a step back, heart pounding wildly. Then the voice spoke again, calm, cold, terrifying. "I've been waiting since the night she died." Emily's eyes widened. "What?" The darkness in the basement shifted again, rising, stretching upward. "I was there when she called your name one last time." Emily shook her head, backing away slowly. "But you didn't hear her," the voice continued. "So I did." Her breath caught. "What are you?" The thing in the basement moved closer. One slow step upward, then another. Its shape becoming clearer. "I learned her voice," it whispered. "I learned how she loved you. I learned how to call you." Emily turned and ran. She sprinted out of the kitchen, through the hallway, and toward the front door. Come on, behind her. She heard it climbing the stairs, fast now, not slow anymore. Not dragging, running. The door finally unlocked. Emily threw it open and ran outside into the cold night air. She didn't stop. She ran down the street barefoot, screaming for help. Lights began turning on in nearby houses. Doors opened. "Help me, please," she cried. Someone grabbed her, pulling her away from the house. "What happened?" they asked. Emily pointed back, shaking violently. "There's something in my house. It's not my mom. It's not." She stopped. The house behind her was completely still, silent, dark, like nothing had ever happened. The front door was closed. The police came. They searched the entire house, every room, every corner, even the basement, but they found nothing. No footprints, no writing on the wall, no sign that anything had been there, just a quiet, empty home. That night, Emily refused to go back inside. She stayed with a neighbor, safe, surrounded by people. For the first time since it started, she felt like she might finally be okay. But at exactly 3 a.m., her phone rang. Emily stared at the screen. Her heart stopped. The caller. "ID read, Mom?" Her hands trembled as the phone continued to ring, once, twice, 3 times. Then a voicemail notification appeared. Emily hesitated, then slowly pressed play. For a moment, there was only static. Then, a soft voice whispered, "Emily, I'm still inside." Emily dropped her phone. It hit the floor with a dull thud, but she didn't pick it up. She couldn't move. Her whole body had gone cold. "No, no, no, no," she whispered, backing away slowly. The neighbor beside her frowned. "What's wrong?" Emily pointed at the phone with a shaking hand. "My mom. She just called me." The neighbor looked confused. "Emily, you said your mom passed away." Emily didn't answer. She slowly bent down and picked up her phone again. Her hands trembled as she replayed the voicemail. Static. Then that same whisper, "Emily, I'm still inside." Her heart pounded violently. "It's in the house," she said, her voice very audible. The police officer nearby stepped forward. "Ma'am, we've already checked the house. There's nothing inside." Emily shook her head. "No, you don't understand." She looked back at the house. Dark, silent, waiting. Then suddenly, a light turned on upstairs. Emily froze. I didn't leave any lights on." The officers turned toward the house. "Stay here," one of them said, reaching for his flashlight. They slowly approached the front door again. Emily watched, unable to breathe. The door creaked open. The officers stepped inside. Seconds passed, then a minute, then 2. Emily's chest tightened. Why aren't they coming out? She whispered. Then a scream echoed from inside the house. Sharp. Terrified. Cut off instantly. Emily stumbled backward. No. The front door slammed shut. The lights inside the house went out. Everything went dark again. The street fell silent. The neighbors stepped back frightened. No one moved. No one spoke. Then Emily's phone vibrated in her hand again. She looked down slowly. Another call. Mom, tears streamed down her face. I'm not answering, she whispered. The phone kept ringing and ringing and ringing until finally it stopped. A new voicemail appeared. Emily didn't want to listen. Every part of her screamed not to, but something inside her forced her to press play. This time, there was no static, only breathing, slow, heavy breathing. Then, multiple voices spoke. At once, layered, broken, whispering over each other. Emily. Her knees nearly gave out. It found you. You left us. You didn't listen. Emily covered her ears, shaking her head. Stop. Then one voice became clear. Her mother's voice. Soft, familiar. Terrifying. Emily. It's not in the house anymore. Emily froze. Her heart stopped. Then the voice whispered the final words. It followed you. The phone slipped from her hand. Emily turned slowly. The neighbors were still behind her. The street was quiet. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Then she noticed something right under the streetlight. Shadow. But it didn't belong to anyone. It was too tall, too thin, and it wasn't connected to anything. It moved slowly, stretching across the ground. Toward her. Emily tried to run, but her legs wouldn't move. The shadow reached her feet, then began to rise, climbing up her body, wrapping around her. Cold, tight, unavoidable. And just before everything went dark, she heard it whisper one last time. Home is wherever you go. The shadow wrapped completely around Emily, cold, tight, like something was pulling her inside itself. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't scream. Everything around her, the street, the neighbors, the lights, faded into darkness, and then silence. When Emily opened her eyes again, she wasn't outside anymore. She was standing in her house, her childhood house. But something was wrong. The air felt thick, heavy, like it hadn't been touched in years. Hello, she whispered. No answer. The house looked the same, but older, darker. The walls were stained, the furniture covered in dust, and the smell. It was the same rotten smell from the basement. Emily's heart pounded. I left this place. A soft creak echoed behind her. She turned slowly. Her bedroom door was open, but she didn't remember going upstairs. A voice came from inside, soft, gentle, familiar. Emily, come here, sweetheart. Tears filled her eyes and, Mom, her legs moved before her mind could stop them. Step by step, she walked into the room. And there, sitting on the edge of the bed, was her mother. Exactly how she remembered her. Same face, same smile, same warm eyes. Emily's breath shook. Mom, her mother looked up at her slowly, smiling. Why did you leave me? Emily rushed forward, tears streaming down her face. I didn't leave you. You died. Her words stopped. Her mother's smile didn't change, not even slightly, but her eyes. Her eyes were wrong, empty, dark, watching her too closely. You didn't listen. Her mother whispered. Emily froze. That wasn't right. That wasn't her. I told you not to answer. The voice continued. Her mother's head tilted slightly. Too far, too unnatural. Emily stepped back slowly. You're not my mom? The smile widened. Too wide? I learned her well, didn't I? The room suddenly grew colder. The walls began to darken. The house started changing, rotting, peeling. The thing on the bed slowly stood up. Its body stretched taller. Its arms lengthened. Its face started slipping like a mask melting off. Beneath it was something else. Something thin, something twisted, something that had been pretending all along. You, it whispered. You stayed the longest. Emily's breath caught. What others run, it said. Others don't. The shadow wrapped tightly around Emily, and then everything went black. When she opened her eyes again, she was lying on a cold floor. Not outside, Not in her neighbor's house, but somewhere else. Somewhere familiar. Emily slowly pushed herself up. Her head spinning, the air smelled the same, old, dusty. Her heart dropped as she looked around. She was back inside her house. No, I left, she whispered. Her voice echoed strangely, like the walls were hollow. The living room looked wrong. The furniture was there but faded and rotten, like it had been abandoned for years. The walls were darker, stained. The message, it was back. I came back for you. But now there were more words, written over and over again across the walls. Stay, stay, stay. Emily stumbled backward in horror. This isn't real. Then she heard it, a voice, soft, weak, coming from upstairs. Emily, her breath caught. That voice, it was different this time. Not twisted, not broken. It sounded real. Mom, Emily whispered. Tears filled her eyes. The voice came again. Emily, please. Without thinking, Emily ran toward the stairs. Every instinct told her not to. But her heart overpowered her fear. She rushed upstairs, following the voice to her mother's old bedroom. The door was slightly open. Light flickered. Inside, Emily pushed it open slowly and froze. Her mother was sitting on the bed, exactly as she remembered her. Same clothes, same face, same gentle eyes. Mom, Emily whispered, her voice shaking. Her mother looked up at her. Tears streamed down her face. Emily, you came back? Emily ran to her and dropped to her knees, hugging her tightly. She felt warm, real, alive. I thought I lost you, Emily cried. Her mother held her close. For a moment, everything felt normal again. Safe. Then her mother whispered softly, you shouldn't have come here. Emily pulled back slowly. What? Her mother's expression changed. Fear filled her eyes. It's not letting me leave, she said. Emily's heart began to race. What do you mean? Her mother grabbed her hand tightly. Listen to me. That thing. It copies voices, but it couldn't copy love. Emily's breath trembled. Then, how are you here? Her mother's grip tightened. Because I never left. Silence. The room felt colder. What? Emily whispered. Her mother's voice shook. When I died, it didn't take me. It trapped me. Emily's eyes widened in horror. Inside this house. Her mother looked toward the dark corner of the room. And now, it brought you here too. Emily slowly turned. The corner of the room was darker than the rest. Too dark. Then it moved. The shadow began to rise again. Taller, larger than before, filling the room. Its pale eyes opened, staring at both of them. Emily's mother whispered urgently, run, now. Emily grabbed her hand. Come with me. Her mother shook her head, tears falling. I can't, it won't let me. The shadow took a step closer. The entire room trembled. Go, her mother screamed. Emily hesitated for 1 second, then turned and ran. She rushed out of the room, down the hallway, toward the stairs. Behind her, she heard the shadow moving, fast, not slow anymore, chasing. The house twisted around her as she ran. Doors appearing where there were none before, hallways stretching longer. The exit felt farther away. Let me out, she screamed. Then suddenly she saw it, the front door, right ahead, light shining through the cracks. Emily ran with everything she had left. She reached the door and threw it open and fell forward onto the ground, back outside. The cold night air hit her face. She gasped, scrambling away from the house. Behind her, the door slammed shut. Silence. Emily lay there, shaking, crying, trying to catch her breath. I made it, she whispered. But then she heard something behind her, not from the house, from right beside her. A soft voice, weak, broken. Emily, her blood ran cold. She turned slowly and saw her mother, standing there, outside. But something was wrong. Her smile didn't reach her eyes, and behind her, on the ground, was a second shadow, much taller, much darker, still attached, still following. Her mother tilted her head slightly and whispered, now, we can both come home. Now, we can both come home. Emily's heart dropped. She stumbled backward on the cold ground, shaking her head. No, "You're not my mom," she whispered. The figure in front of her smiled wider. "Too wide? You said that before," it replied softly. The voice was perfect, exactly like her mother's, but now Emily could hear it, something underneath, something else speaking with it. Her chest tightened. "You followed me out," Emily said, her voice trembling. The thing tilted its head. "I don't follow," it said calmly. "I attach." The shadow behind it stretched slightly, growing taller under the streetlight. Emily took another step back. "Where's my real mom?" she demanded. For a moment, the thing didn't answer. Then its smile slowly faded, and something strange happened. Its face flickered like a glitch. Emily saw something else, something twisted, something hollow. Then the face returned to her mother's. "She's still inside," it said quietly. Emily's stomach dropped. "You left her there." Tears filled her eyes. "No, I tried. You ran," it interrupted softly. The words hit her like a knife. Emily shook her head violently. "I had to." The thing took a step closer. The shadow behind it stretched further toward her feet. "You always leave," it whispered. Emily froze. "What?" The voice changed slightly. Not just her mother's anymore. "Every voice you ignored, every call you didn't answer. We heard everything." The shadow began to move faster now, climbing toward her. This isn't real. "It is now," it replied. The shadow touched her foot again. Ice shot through her body. She gasped and stumbled back, but this time she didn't fall. She stopped. Something inside her snapped. Emily's expression changed. Fear turned into something else. Determination. "No," she said firmly. The thing paused. For the first time, it hesitated. Emily looked straight at it. "You only have power when I listen," she said. Silence. The shadow flickered slightly. Emily took a step forward this time. "You copy voices. You trick people. You feed on fear. But you're nothing without it." The thing's smile twitched. "Careful," it warned. Emily shook her head. "No." She closed her eyes tightly and spoke out loud. Not listening anymore. The air around her shifted. The shadow froze. The streetlight flickered violently. The thing stepped back. "No," it said, its voice cracking. Emily opened her eyes. "I hear you," she said, "but I don't believe you." The shadow began to pull away. "Now, we can both come home." Emily's heart dropped. She stumbled backward on the cold ground, shaking her head. "No, you're not my mom," she whispered. The figure in front of her smiled wider. "Too wide? You said that before," it replied softly. The voice was perfect, exactly like her mother's, but now Emily could hear it. Something underneath, something else speaking with it, like two voices layered together. Her chest tightened. "You followed me out," Emily said, her voice trembling. The thing tilted its head. "I don't follow," it said calmly. "I attach." The shadow behind it stretched slightly, growing taller under the streetlight. Emily took another step back. "Where's my real mom?" she demanded. For a moment, the thing didn't answer. Then its smile slowly faded, and something strange happened. Its face flickered like a glitch. For a split second, Emily saw something else, something twisted, something hollow. Then the face returned to her mother's. "She's still inside," it said quietly. Emily's stomach dropped. "You left her there." Tears filled her eyes. "No, I tried. You ran," it interrupted softly. The words hit her like a knife. Emily shook her head violently. "I had to." The shadow behind it stretched further across the ground, reaching toward her feet again. "You always leave," it whispered. Emily froze. "What?" The voice changed slightly. Not just her mother's anymore. Different tones, different emotions, all speaking at once. "Every voice you ignored, every call you didn't answer, every time someone needed you." The shadow began to move faster now, climbing slowly toward her. "We heard everything." Emily's breathing became uneven. This isn't real." "It is now," it replied. The shadow touched her foot again. Ice shot through her body. She gasped and stumbled back, but this time she didn't fall. She stopped. Something inside her snapped. Emily's expression changed. Fear turned into something else. Determination. "No," she said firmly. The thing paused. For the first time, it hesitated. Emily looked straight at it. "You only have power when I listen," she said. Silence. The shadow flickered slightly. Emily took a step forward this time. "You copy voices. You trick people. You feed on fear," she continued. "But you're nothing without it." The thing's smile twitched. "Careful," it warned. Emily shook her head. "No." She closed her eyes tightly and spoke out loud. "I'm not listening anymore." The air around her shifted. The shadow froze. The streetlight flickered violently. The thing stepped back. "No," it said, its voice cracking. Emily opened her eyes. "I hear you," she said, "but I don't believe you." The shadow began to pull away from her body, slowly, like it was being dragged back. "No, no, no," the voices whispered, overlapping in panic. The figure of her mother began to distort, its face breaking apart into darkness. "You don't get to take her voice," Emily said, her voice steady now. "You don't get to take me." The shadow let out a low and natural sound, then snapped backward, like it had been yanked by something unseen, like returned. The street was normal again, quiet, empty, no shadow, no figure, nothing. Emily stood there breathing heavily. Tears streamed down her face. "Mom," she whispered. No answer, only silence. But this time, the silence felt different, peaceful. The house behind her stood still, just a house, nothing more. Emily slowly turned away from it and began to walk, not running, not looking back, just walking forward. But as she disappeared down the street, deep inside the empty house, in the darkest corner of the basement, something shifted. A faint whisper echoed softly. She learned, a pause, then, "We'll wait." The whisper faded into the darkness of the house. And for the first time in days, everything was quiet. Emily never went back. She left that street, that house, that life behind her. Within a week, she moved to a different city. A small apartment. New surroundings. New people. Somewhere the past couldn't reach her. Or so she believed. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Nothing strange happened. No voices, no shadows, no whispers at night. Emily slowly began to feel normal again. She slept peacefully. She laughed again. She even started telling herself, "It's over." But there was one thing she could never forget. Her mother, still trapped, still inside that house. Some nights, Emily would sit alone and stare at her phone, thinking, what if she was still there? What if I left her behind? The thought never fully went away. Then one night, everything changed. It was exactly 3 o'clock a.m. Emily woke up suddenly. Not from fear, not from a noise, just awake. Her room was dark, silent, calm. She sat up slowly, her heart steady. "No," she whispered. "I'm not doing this again." She reached for her phone. No missed calls. No messages. Nothing. Emily let out a small breath of relief. Then, her phone buzzed. She froze. Slowly, she looked down at the screen. A new notification. One new voicemail. Her chest tightened. Her hands began to shake. No, 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 she didn't want to listen. She shouldn't listen. But her thumb moved anyway. She pressed play. At first, nothing. Then, a soft sound. Not static. Not whispering. Just breathing. Then a voice, weak, faint, but real. Emily, tears instantly filled her eyes. "Mom," she whispered. The voice continued, trembling. "I don't have much time. I found a way to push it back, but it's still here." Emily stood up from her bed, panic rising. "What do I do?" She cried softly. The voice cracked. "Listen to me. You were right. It needs you to believe, to follow, to listen." A pause. Then, "So don't come back." Emily froze. "What if you come back? It will leave this place. It will follow you again, and it won't stop next time." Emily covered her mouth. Shaking, "No, I can't just leave you. You have to," her mother's voice suddenly cried. The sound glitched, twisted. Something else tried to break through. Emily stepped back. "No." Then the voice came again, struggling, fading. "Emily, please." Silence. The voicemail ended. Emily stood there in the dark, trembling, tears streaming down her face. She didn't know what to do. Go back and risk everything, or stay and leave her mother trapped forever. Her phone screen went dark. The room fell silent again. Then, from somewhere behind her, a soft whisper filled the air, very faint, very close. You heard her. Emily slowly turned. Her room was empty, but her shadow on the wall wasn't. It moved, just slightly, without her. Then the whisper came again. "But will you listen?" Emily's heart pounded, because this time, it wasn't coming from far away. It wasn't coming from the house. It was right here, with her, watching, waiting, and learning. "But will you listen?" Emily couldn't move. Her eyes were locked on the wall, on her shadow. It twitched again, just slightly, but enough. Her breath came in short, sharp bursts. "No," she whispered. "You're not real. You're not real." But the shadow didn't stop. It began to stretch, slowly peeling away from the wall, as if it no longer belonged to her. Emily stumbled backward, her legs hitting the edge of the bed. This isn't happening. The shadow rose higher, taller than her, longer than it should be, and then it stepped forward, out of the wall, onto the floor. Emily screamed and grabbed the nearest thing she could find, a lamp, and threw it. It passed straight through the shadow, crashing against the wall behind it. The room flickered, the lights dimmed, and the voice came again, clearer now, stronger. "You left the door open." Emily froze. "What door?" The shadow tilted its head. "The one inside you." Her heart dropped. "No, you stopped believing, but you never closed it." The shadow moved closer. Each step made the room feel smaller, colder. "You still doubt," it whispered. "And doubt is enough." Emily backed away, shaking her head violently. "I'm not listening to you." The shadow paused, then smiled, not with a face, but she felt it, a presence, a satisfaction. "You already are." The lights went out. Total darkness. Emily gasped, reaching blindly for her phone. The screen lit up, casting a weak glow. She pointed it forward. The shadow was gone. The room was empty again. Emily stood there, trembling. "Where did it go?" she whispered. Then her phone buzzed in her hand. She flinched. Slowly, she looked down. A message from an unknown number. Her heart pounded as she opened it. There was no text, just a video. Her fingers shook as she pressed play. The screen flickered, then showed something that made her blood turn to ice. It was her, sleeping in her bed, from just moments ago. Emily dropped the phone. No. She picked it up again, her hands shaking uncontrollably. The video continued in the footage. Her sleeping body lay still, peaceful and aware. But then something moved behind her, a shadow rising slowly from the wall, standing over her, watching, waiting. The video ended. Emily stared at the screen in horror. Then a second message came through. This time, just words. "You only see me when I want you to." Her breathing became uneven. "I'm not going back. I'm not going back." Another message appeared. "You don't have to." Emily's heart stopped. Then the final message came. Slowly, one word at a time. "I'm already here." The phone screen went black. The room fell silent. Then Emily felt it, a cold breath, right behind her ear, and a whisper so soft, "Turn around." Music. Turn around. Emily stood frozen. Her heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear anything else. Every instinct screamed at her to run. But she knew something now. Running didn't work. Hiding didn't work. Listening made it stronger. Slowly, carefully, Emily closed her eyes. Her hands trembled, but her voice this time was steady. "No." Silence. The cold presence behind her didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't whisper. Emily swallowed hard. "You've followed me. You've watched me. You've tried to trick me," she said quietly. Her voice shook, but she didn't stop. but you only exist when I let you in. The air in the room grew heavier. The temperature dropped. You use her voice, Emily continued, tears forming in her eyes. But you're not her. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the whisper returned, lower, angrier. You don't know that. Emily clenched her fists. I do. She took a slow breath. If my mom was really here, she wouldn't hide. She wouldn't whisper from the dark. She would tell me to live, and she would never ask me to come back. The silence stretched longer this time. Then, the presence behind her shifted, the cold feeling weakened. You're lying, the voice hissed. Emily shook her head. I'm letting go. The lights flickered once, twice, then steadied. The weight in the room began to lift, slowly, like something losing its grip. You can't leave me, the voice whispered, now fading. Emily opened her eyes. You were never mine. A sudden rush of cold air swept through the room. Then, everything stopped. No whisper, no shadow, no presence, just silence, real silence. Emily stood there, breathing heavily, waiting, listening, nothing. Minutes passed, then more, and for the first time, there was no fear. Her phone buzzed softly in her hand. Emily flinched, but this time, she looked. The new voicemail. Her heart skipped slowly. She pressed play. For a moment, there was nothing. Then a familiar voice. Warm, gentle, real. Emily, Mom, the voice continued softly. You did it. Emily covered her mouth, crying quietly. I'm so proud of you, her mother's voice said. It can't reach you anymore. Emily sank to her knees. I'm sorry, I left you, she whispered. The voice responded. Calm and loving, you never left me. A soft pause. I've always been with you, not in that house, not in the dark, but here. Emily pressed her hand to her chest, sobbing. The voice grew softer, fading. Live your life, Emily. Don't listen to the darkness. Listen to yourself. The voicemail ended, and this time, no new message appeared. No shadow moved, no whisper followed. Just peace. Emily slowly stood up. She walked to the window and opened the curtains. Morning light spilled into the room, warm, safe, real. She took a deep breath. And for the first time in a long time, she smiled. Outside, the world moved on. Cars passed, birds sang, life continued, and Emily finally let go. This is the end of this story. Please subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.